Hello, everybody. I am Randy.
And I'm your boy, Brian.
And we want to welcome you to our very first podcast.
Episode 1.
This is absolutely episode 1. I'm really so excited about this because, we've been talking about this for like about a year or so.
Most definitely.
Doing a podcast and even coming up with a name. And right now we're calling it Fish and Chips. So we're just really excited, but we want to bring to you, we want to be a different type of podcast. Bringing you real life events. We plan on doing a lot of traveling. We just recently got back from Thailand, and we had a glorious time, exciting time, and we're going to go back as well. So, but we're
More
just really excited.
Soon.
Yeah, a lot of details coming. There was so much fun there, but again, this is just our first podcast, and we're really excited about it. There's a lot of work going into this thing, setting up cameras, and just trying to bring you the best experience that we can, because we don't want to be like everybody else. We want to be more raw, more real, tell you the truth about what's going on in our world. So we plan on talking about adventures, relationships, you name it, but really real talk. Real talk, because a lot of times these podcasts, people not really being real, and we just want to make it more real, where you can understand and things actually people go through. So we're just really excited about that, right?
Most definitely, guys. I just want to say welcome. Again, this is our first episode. First episode in the podcast. And on our first episode, we're going to be talking about, our experience in Thailand and how that was. And, from you never traveling to, from outside the U.S. and that was your first time, you know. Through all that, and what our expectations was in Thailand, and and like you said, we might end up going back one day, so stay tuned.
And I'm just gonna tell the truth. Again, this was my very first time ever going outside of the United States, and I didn't really know what to expect, and I was kind of really nervous. I've heard a lot about Thailand, but actually being there, you can look at the YouTube videos, you can do all that stuff, but until you actually there. So I remember, first of all, I haven't been outside the country like that.
Okay, so let's tell the people, because I guess the people are gonna want to know, where are you from? And have you ever traveled anywhere else? Besides the U.S. Mm-hmm. Let's start there.
Yeah. Actually, I'm from Dallas, Texas. So, actually, a little town called Terrell, Texas is where I grew up at, right? So, I kind of been in Dallas.
Very little town.
Yeah. So, I kind of been in Dallas, for a long period of time.
Well, hold on. Then tell them, you said you came from, you said Terrell, Texas.
Yeah.
Who else is from Terrell, Texas that, everybody know about?
Jamie Foxx. Yeah, right. From Terrell, Texas. So
yeah. Did y'all grew up together, right?
Yeah, we grew up together. Was in the band together and everything. So, yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty interesting. But, Terrell, it's a very small little city, but it's really growing as well. So getting back to what I was saying, I went on cruises. How you get on a cruise, Carnival cruise, and you go visit a place or whatever, then you get back on that cruise.
Like your normal places, like
exactly.
Mexico,
the normal
Cozumel,
stuff like that.
Honduras, right. The Bahamas, yeah.
But to actually fly about 19 hours.
Okay, well, so let's start here. Have you gone anywhere outside the U.S.?
No.
So this is your first time?
Not on a plane, no.
So you're like a virgin to this stuff.
I was a virgin to that. And I'm going to tell you something.
Okay, so have you traveled inside the U.S. besides here in Texas?
Yeah, in Texas. I've been to California.
Okay.
Before. I've been to Florida before.
Okay.
Again, but nothing out of the
outside
country.
of United States.
No.
So this was your first time.
No, not literally flying. No.
Okay.
But before I get into that, you go ahead and tell them where you're from and all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, and I'm residing here in Dallas, and that's where I met my boy Randy here. And we've been together here ever since, and that's why we're starting here this podcast, talking about our experiences and our journeys throughout life. So again, I've been, because my family's originally from Guatemala, so I've been outside the country. I've been outside just to places like Guatemala, maybe like El Salvador and Mexico and stuff like that. but nothing overseas for me as well, you know. And usually my plane rides are usually because Guatemala is just down the street, like about 2 or 3 hour flight. So I'm okay. I'm okay flying 2 or 3 hours. You know, it's not a big deal.
So you speak Espanol?
Oh, most definitely. I speak Espanol, yes.
Can you tell our fans in
Hola, ¿cómo
Espanol?
están todos?
Yeah.
Hey. I got to represent my Hispanic people. But yes, most definitely, again, this was my first time actually going to Thailand or going overseas. Especially this flight, again, was like a 21 hour flight altogether. So that was, it was nerve-wracking, but yeah, that was my first time as well going overseas to that far of the country.
Yeah, but since he mentioned that, I'm gonna tell you guys, 3 days prior to that flight, I don't know, I was getting nervous, I was getting anxieties because honestly, I was thinking about a 19-hour flight. I've never been in the air that long, even though I know it's gonna come down in Tokyo, then 6 more hours. To Thailand. I've never been in an airplane that long, so I was getting anxieties. And the night before the trip, I didn't even sleep. I tried, but I stayed up. I just couldn't sleep. I was just literally, my palms were sweating. I mean, I was literally nervous. I had to really call it my inner spiritual being and God, and bring myself at peace, because anybody that knows me know that if I'm going to fly, I don't want to fly no more than 2 hours in the air. Yeah. So we're talking about 19, 20, 21 hours. So I was just freaking out. In the morning of the trip, I remember what we called the Uber guy, and I just remember in my mind I was just freaking out, but I didn't want to let Brian know, but I was just freaking out, like, oh my God, am I really doing this? It's just really, really happening. So once we were at the airport and then on the airplane, I remember just
it's like when it's starting to sink in, right?
When you're at the
airport, it started sinking in at that point.
Yeah, it was really, really
but
real.
I was gonna definitely ask you, like, because again, did you feel any type of anxiety? Were you nervous? Me personally, I don't know. I didn't really feel, maybe just a little nervous, but it wasn't like nothing too crazy.
I felt,
but I did feel, the longevity of that whole flight, because it did like wear my body down, like I said, maybe the jet lag, because it was like 20, it was and then too, also it's like a 12 hours time difference. So it's
12 hours ahead of us.
So say for example, if it's 1 o'clock here in our Central's time, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, in their time. So it's like 2 different time zones, most definitely. But that was an experience as well. Like, how did you feel like once you went through the whole change, when you got there? Did your body have to readjust, in the first couple of days, or what happened?
Well, before I answer that, okay, let's talk about the plane ride, okay? Because again, you're in the air, the plane then took off, we're in the air, and I'm waiting for any type of bump, turbulence. Or anything. And the plane was like smooth, like the first 4 or 5 hours. And then I don't know if we went through some clouds or something. It started to bounce a little, right?
It was cloudy. It was a little bit cloudy when we went. Yeah, it wasn't like full on sunny all the way around. No, it was cloudy. So, but to me, it wasn't that bad. It was there was some turbulence, but it wasn't as bad for me.
Guys, actually, I can honestly say this: the trip wasn't as bad as what I thought. He's right. It did kind of go really smooth. But what was bad was the food on the plane. I don't know what they served.
And if you guys want to know, it's American Airlines. Well, we traveled.
It was American Airlines, but we're going all the way to Japan and then to Thailand. I'm just saying, going from here to Tokyo, the lunch or food wasn't good. But like I was saying, the flight was okay. It was just more the food for me. But after that, it was kind of smooth sailing into Bangkok. What'd you say?
Yes, most definitely. And to make it to where we went to Pattaya, Thailand. We had to go to Bangkok. We had to land to Bangkok in order for us to make it there. But again, overall, the whole trip was about like 21 hours. We had to stop at Tokyo. And then from Tokyo, it took us to Bangkok, Thailand. And then from Bangkok, Thailand, you have to drive about like an hour to Pattaya, Thailand. And that's where we stayed at. But overall, it was a good experience. It was long, and that was longer than what I expected. But I had really nothing really bad to say as far as besides the food.
Yeah, and actually they have the movies on the plane, so I think I watched Avatar 3 times. It was like 3 hours, right? So I watched it like 9 hours. Watched it 3 times, so they'd help the time to go by as well.
Now, next time, what I would do different, as far as for me, as far as flying that long, I need like maybe a cushion on my tushy.
And your neck. Yeah.
Because your butt starts getting a little numb. You know, being especially sitting down for like 10, 12, 13 hours straight. So that's what I'll definitely do different. But again,
the trip was good.
Overall, the trip was good. I really loved it. Again, to make it to Pattaya, we had to stop at Bangkok airport, and then from there we went to Thailand.
And stop right there. We're gonna use this for our first episode because we're gonna let y'all know exactly what happened once we got to the rooms in our second episode and everything else, the people we encountered. So make sure you tune in for our second episode.
And we'll see if we got some footage from our trip as well. We can definitely put it, you know, in our videos. But again, we'll continue on. There will be a series of our podcast. Talking about Thailand. The good, the bad, the ugly. What to expect. And how cheap it is, because it's very cheap. Compared to here in the United States.
Don't say cheap. It's reasonable.
Okay. Well, you say it's reasonable. I say it's cheap. But anyways, again, we'll just go from there. Again, this was our first episode here, talking about our experience and adventures in Thailand, and we'll go from there.
And guys, again, like he said, thank you so much for joining our first episode, Fish and Chips. So make sure you tell everybody about it, so they can tune in as well, because we're gonna have a whole lot of fun. There's so much we want to tell y'all about, so many unexpected things that happen. So we just want y'all on this journey, as we continue to move forward. So we would like to thank you for joining Fish
and Chips.